How long could you actually stay inside your home if nothing came in at all? No grocery runs, no deliveries, no help showing up tomorrow. Many people assume they could bug in for months. Some believe they could last a year or more. Reality looks very different once water, power, sanitation, and health all start failing at the same time. This video cuts through the assumptions and looks at how long you can realistically bug in without resupply, and what usually forces people to leave long before their food runs out. Welcome to Prepper's Paradigm, your channel dedicated to practical prepping and disaster preparedness. I use a computer-generated voice in these videos because my own voice is difficult to understand due to an injury. Today, we're answering a question that every prepper needs to be honest about. How long can you realistically bug in without resupply? This isn't about best-case scenarios or perfect conditions. This is about real homes, real families, and real limits. Food, water, power, sanitation, medical needs, and mental strain all set hard boundaries on how long staying put remains the safer option. We'll walk through what actually determines your bug-in timeline, why most people overestimate it, and how different levels of preparedness change the outcome. We'll also talk about why bugging in works best when it's treated as a flexible plan that gets reassessed as conditions change, not a fixed promise to stay forever no matter what. Most people believe they could bug in longer than they actually can. A typical household relies on constant resupply, even if it doesn't feel that way day to day. Grocery stores refill shelves daily. Water flows because treatment plants stay online. Power keeps food cold, phones charged, and homes livable. Once those systems stop, the clock starts immediately. Food often looks plentiful at first, but much of it depends on refrigeration, electricity, or regular replacement. Fresh food spoils quickly. Frozen food follows soon after. Pantry food exists, but meals become repetitive and calories drop faster than expected. Water presents an even bigger problem. Many homes have little to no stored drinking water. Faucets stop working when power or treatment systems fail, and stored water disappears within days if usage doesn't change fast. Sanitation usually gets overlooked at this stage. Toilets stop flushing. Trash builds up. Hygiene slips. These issues don't feel urgent on day one, but they stack up fast and make a home uncomfortable and unhealthy. For most unprepared households, bugging in without resupply becomes difficult in under a week and unsustainable soon after. This doesn't reflect failure or lack of intelligence. This reflects how modern life works. Prepping starts by recognizing this baseline honestly. Every extra day you can safely stay home comes from deliberately pushing back against these limits. Food feels like the obvious limiting factor, but the problem usually isn't a total lack of calories. The problem is access, preparation, and sustainability. In the first few days, most households still have food available. Refrigerators and freezers stay cold for a while. Pantries look full enough. This creates a false sense of security. Once power goes out, that changes quickly. Refrigerated food spoils. Frozen food becomes a race against time. Cooking methods narrow fast if electricity or natural gas stops working. Meals that once felt simple now require fuel, time, and planning. Simple backup cooking options, like a single burner propane or butane stove, make a huge difference here and don't require a full kitchen setup. Portion sizes shrink without people noticing. Stress increases appetite. Comfort eating kicks in. Calories disappear faster than expected, especially in households with children or physically demanding routines. Even well-stocked pantries often lack balance. Staples might exist, but variety drops all. Morale suffers. Appetite fatigue sets in. People start skipping meals, not because food is gone, but because eating feels like a chore. For many households, food becomes a serious concern within 1 to 2 weeks. For basic preppers, a month is realistic. For well-prepared homes with cooking options and food rotation, 3 months is achievable, sometimes longer. Food rarely forces people out on its own. Instead, it weakens everything else. It reduces energy, patience, and decision-making at the exact moment those matter most. That's why food planning extends beyond storage. It depends on preparation, familiarity, and the ability to keep cooking under degraded conditions. Water usually ends bug-in timelines long before food does. People often underestimate how quickly stored water disappears. Drinking needs alone add up fast. Cooking, basic hygiene, and cleaning push usage even higher, even when people try to conserve. Many homes store little or no water at all. Some rely entirely on the tap, assuming it will keep flowing. When power outages, infrastructure failures, or contamination shut that down, options narrow immediately. Even households that store water often plan for days or weeks, not months. That's why many preppers add water filters or simple purification tablets to extend how long stored and collected water stays usable. I've linked a couple options in the video description. Space limits how much you can realistically keep indoors. Once stored water runs low, every decision becomes harder. Do you drink less, cook less, or stop basic hygiene altogether? Water collection helps, but only if sources exist nearby and remain accessible. Filtration and purification extend timelines, but they don't create water out of nothing. Weather, security, and physical ability all affect whether gathering water remains safe and realistic. This is where bugging usually shifts from uncomfortable to unsustainable. Dehydration affects focus, mood, and physical ability quickly. Small mistakes turn into serious problems faster than people expect. For most households, water determines the true upper limit of bugging in without resupply. Preparation doesn't remove that limit, but it can push it back and buy time to reassess conditions calmly instead of under pressure. Losing power doesn't just make life inconvenient. It reshapes how every other system in your home works. Without electricity, food storage becomes harder. Refrigeration disappears. Cooking options narrow. Lighting turns into a daily concern once the sun goes down. Communication becomes unreliable as devices run out of charge. Power loss also affects water indirectly. Many municipal systems rely on electricity for treatment and pumping. Even private wells stop working without backup power. When the lights go out, water often follows. Heating and cooling matter more than people expect. In hot weather, heat stress becomes a risk. In cold weather, homes lose warmth quickly. Energy demands rise at the same time fuel and charging options shrink. Backup power helps, but only for a limited time. Small portable power stations and basic solar chargers can keep lights, radios, and phones running, but only if expectations stay realistic. Remember that portable power stations run down. Generators depend on fuel that runs out faster than planned. Solar helps extend timelines, but weather and daylight set firm limits. Power loss increases isolation too. News slows down. Contact with family fades. Decision-making becomes harder when information dries up. Most people can tolerate a short outage. Long outages change behavior. Tasks take more effort. Small problems feel bigger. Stress rises. Power doesn't usually force people to leave on its own, but it accelerates every other weakness. Once electricity stays down for long periods, bugging in requires more effort every single day just to maintain normal functions. Sanitation problems don't announce themselves right away, but they build steadily. When water and sewer systems fail, toilets stop working as designed. Waste has nowhere to go. Trash piles up. Even households with plenty of food and water start struggling once hygiene slips. At first, people adapt. Dishes get washed less often. Showers get skipped. Trash gets stored instead of taken out. These changes feel manageable for a short time. Over days and weeks, the effects stack up. Odors spread. Pests appear. Illness becomes more likely. Minor cuts and infections take longer to heal when cleanliness drops. Managing waste takes effort and planning. It requires supplies, space, and routines that many homes never consider. Without those, sanitation becomes exhausting, both physically and mentally. This is one of the most common reasons bug-in plans quietly fail, not because supplies run out overnight, but because the home stops feeling safe and healthy. Sanitation doesn't need to be perfect, but it does need to stay functional. Homes that can manage waste and hygiene maintain stability far longer than those that can't. Mental strain builds quietly during long periods of isolation and uncertainty. Routine disappears. Days blur together. Small annoyances turn into arguments. Decision-making becomes harder as fatigue sets in and information stays limited. Even well-prepared households feel this pressure. Supplies reduce risk, but they don't remove stress. Worry about the outside situation, concern for family, and constant low-level vigilance wear people down over time. Boredom plays a role too. Without work, school, or normal social contact, time stretches out, morale drops, motivation slips. Tasks that once felt manageable start getting delayed or skipped. This mental load affects behavior. People take shortcuts. Hygiene slips. Meals get simpler. Security awareness drops. These changes don't happen all at once, but they compound. Bugging in succeeds when people manage stress as deliberately as they manage supplies. Structure, communication, and small morale boosters help maintain stability and clear thinking over longer periods. How long you can realistically bug in without resupply depends less on optimism and more on how many limits you've already pushed back. For an unprepared household, the timeline stays short. Food spoils quickly. Water runs out within days. Sanitation and stress pile up fast. Bugging in becomes uncomfortable within a few days and difficult to sustain beyond a week. For households with basic preparation, the picture improves. Some stored food exists. A little water sits on hand. Power outages feel manageable at first. 1 to 2 weeks becomes realistic, sometimes longer, but pressure builds as water, hygiene, and fatigue take their toll. Well-prepared households buy more time. Stored food supports real meals. Water plans extend beyond what's in containers. Cooking works without grid power. Sanitation stays functional. A month to 3 months becomes achievable, depending on conditions and household needs. Highly self-sufficient homes stretch that window further. Water access exists beyond storage. Power solutions extend capabilities. Medical and sanitation plans reduce risk. Even then, timelines remain finite. Systems were down. Supplies still deplete. Stress still accumulates. No level of preparation removes limits entirely. Preparation shifts when those limits appear and how much control you have when they do. Bugging in works best when people understand the realistic window instead of assuming it lasts forever. Bugging in usually remains the safer option, especially early in a crisis. Your home offers shelter, familiarity, stored supplies, and a known environment. Moving introduces risk. Travel exposes you to uncertainty. Leaving too early often creates more problems than it solves. That doesn't mean conditions stay static. Utilities may stay down longer than expected. Health issues can emerge. Weather can change. Security concerns can shift. What felt manageable at the start can become fragile weeks later. Reassessment doesn't mean giving up on bugging in. It means paying attention. It means asking whether your home remains safe, livable, and sustainable with the resources you have. Prepared households reassess quietly and regularly. They track water use. They monitor health. They watch morale. They stay aware of what is improving and what is degrading. This approach prevents panic decisions. It preserves options. It keeps bugging in line with reality rather than hope. Bugging in isn't about refusing to adapt. It's about staying put as long as doing so continues to reduce risk. Knowing your limits gives you confidence. It removes guesswork. It helps you make calm decisions instead of rushed ones. If you found this helpful, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Let us know in the comments how long you think you could realistically bug in without resupply. Thanks for watching Prepper's Paradigm, your channel dedicated to practical prepping and disaster preparedness.